We'll move on from the jizz skiing.
I feel like we have to throw this out there. I mean, because you're talking about gays and jids and all this stuff, and it's like, this is not the tone of the podcast, what we're going to go down every. I mean, maybe it is from Lewis, but, if anybody's listening and they're truly disgusted by episode 2, then I apologize, I guess.
No, they love it. Believe me, you're never going to hear.
Believe you me,
you're never going to hear a UFC champion talk about skiing through other dudes' jizz anywhere else.
No,
so.
I tell you what, you're not going to hear this one talking about skiing through it either. Let's just get that right. Believe you me on that.
All right, let's get a couple of these questions. These are some fan questions, Mike. So try to get through a few of them.
I hope you picked some good ones.
I picked a few good ones here. All right, so here we go. This is from Mike. He wants to know, does being a professional fighter instigate taunting from guys when you're at a bar, or do more men try to pick fights with you because you're a fighter?
So, generally, no. Generally, most tough guys, I mean, you can always guarantee that, like doormen of clubs and places like that, they all watch UFC. And I'll be honest, most of the time when I go there, they all have respect and they come over, they want to shake your hand. Of course, over the years where I've done this, of course there's been incidents where people, want to challenge you, because normally it's some drunk asshole or some little troublemaker, some well-known troublemaker from a city or whatever. So, I mean, there has been instances like that. But I'll tell you what, most of the time when you get a problem, it isn't the tough guys. It's like the weird, nerdy guys that start like, like you'll be there and you'll talk and they'll go, oh my God, he's in the UFC. Hey, don't punch me. Ha, 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 ha. And think it's really funny. And in reality, it's the most annoying thing ever. And they go, oh my God, we all know you can kick our ass. And I'm like, really? You're just going to keep mentioning this all night? And then by the end of it, I actually do want to kill them because they drive me crazy. They're like the nerdiest, geekiest guys, but they keep mentioning, oh God, it's so funny. Oh, don't kick my ass. And I'm like, oh, God, seriously, stop mentioning it. You're a dick. I'm not mentioning it at all. You obviously have some kind of complex. So, yeah, it's like some weird mid-40s history teacher that mentions it. They're the ones that nearly get knocked out. I'm joking, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I think I guess, like, when I see fighters, I mean, there's, like, almost like a fighters kind of carry themselves in a way which you don't want to fuck with them. There's something about the confidence that you have where you're almost like holding your head up high and having good posture and just kind of like walking through a room like you're not concerned with what somebody can do to you. And I think that it projects an energy onto people around you. So I'm assuming that typically it's like a bully. Like, bullies are only picking the people that kind of have their head down and kind of like they're looking, they can get an easy. Nobody actually is trying to fight somebody. People are just trying to get off on the intimidation or whatever it might be. So have you ever had somebody know you're a fighter and they aren't a fighter and they still were like, fuck that, I want to fight you?
No, not really. I mean, of course, I had that thing in the gym that I told you about recently, where I was in the gym by my house, and this little fat roid head who fit the description perfectly. He had everything. He had the weights belt, he had the fingerless gloves, he had the beanie hat on, he had a massive gut going over his weights belt, and he had some big impressive shoulders and whatnot. He was about 5'2", and he I went on a weight machine next to the one he was using, the flat bench, and he's like, "Oh, dude, I'm using that." I'm like, "Buddy," I said, "It's a public gym. You can't have two machines at once, And anyway, he had a bit of a problem. He's like, "Where are you from?" The gutter. I said, "Oh, mind your fucking business." He's like, "No, seriously, where are you from?" I said, "Honestly, leave me alone. Leave me alone. I'm trying to have my workout." And anyway, he carried on making comments, and I ignored them all. And then he walked up to me at one point, and he said, "So, I'm assuming you think that you can kick my ass. I'm just kind of curious. What exactly would you do to me? Come on." And I said, "Buddy, seriously, just fuck off." And he said, No, come on, tell me. What would you do to me? I really want to know. And I just said, "Please go away. Just go." And he did. And he went away. And, I saw him again. And he said, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" All condescendingly. And I was like, I so badly want to say, "Do you have any idea what I would do to you?" Yeah. But, I just bit my tongue. I mean, the thing is, going back to what you said there before about fighters, I mean, what we do, we we don't have to prove anything to anybody. I think generally when you have guys that are tough guys that go out there, that fight in the street, that are looking for trouble, they've got maybe their own insecurities, their own issues, and they're looking to prove themselves. And maybe that's the only thing that they've got. Guys that do this for a living, come on, that's the last thing they want to do. We go to the gym, we work out our aggression. And another thing, somebody's looking for a fight. Maybe they're aggressive. Maybe they've got things going on in their life that's, they have a few drinks, they're pissed off, and they want to lash out and they want to exercise that aggression. Generally, professional fighters, I mean, we go to the gym every day. We lift weights, we spar, we hit a bag, and of course we fight. So we get a chance to work out that aggression and we get it out of our system. And we fight professionally, so we're not looking to prove anything. And certainly, when our life revolves around fighting, for want of a better term, the last thing you want to do is when you go out is to get into a bloody fight or an altercation or have this negative energy around you. So that is the last thing I'm ever looking for. I mean, I did, when I was a kid, I had a few little skirmishes here and there, I had a few fights, but it's got to be 20 years since I actually got into a fist fight.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because it's kind of just like anything else. Like I think of like with comedy, and I get this all the time. People will go like, "Oh, yeah, make me laugh or do something funny." And you're like, "Dude, when I'm not on stage or I'm not on the radio or podcasting, like, dude, sometimes I just want to be in my own head. I'm not always trying to work and entertain people." And it's just like anything else. If you're, I'm sure if you cook for a living, you're not always trying to prove how well you can cook when you're not,
exactly.
In that capacity. So,
but Lewis, if somebody came to you and said, I mean, I'm sure you say, "Oh, piss off" or whatever for the most part, but it's like, "Oh, you're a comedian. Tell me a joke." What would you say? I'm saying to you right now, Lewis, you're a comedian. Tell me a joke. Go.
I would say, go to my website and look for a date to come see me at a club. I really would. I wouldn't. I don't.
Ask me.
Michael Bisping, tell me a joke.
What do you call a man with a rubber toe?
What do you call a man with a rubber toe?
Roberto.
Jesus Christ.
I think that's awesome. I saw it on Facebook last night. I was laughing my ass off.
All right, let's get one more question in because we had a few more. This is Jen.
Hey, you're going to use that on your next bloody stand-up.
100%. I'm bringing it to the stage tonight.
Yeah.
Jen wants to know, I've got a 6-year-old who is very timid. I want him to come out of his shell. Should I put him in martial arts? And if so, what is the best type of martial arts?
Yeah, well, for sure, absolutely. And God bless that little kid, You know what? My son, actually, Callum, he was so timid when he was younger. He really was. And he's not an aggressive person, but he loves wrestling, loves jiu-jitsu. And it's really helped him massively. So, I mean, martial arts, for one, I mean, that's the main thing. I mean, martial arts predominantly were taught as a form of self-defense. So, of course, get him involved. I mean, to be honest, they're all good. Whichever one, you can't go wrong, whether it's taekwondo, karate, even judo or jiu-jitsu or whatever. Just being in that environment around other children with the discipline. And, I mean, even at that age when they start, there's not even much competition. My son's 6. He started doing jiu-jitsu. They don't even know that they're in a competitive environment. They're just kind of playing around. It's more fun and games at that stage. But it gives them confidence because, they have to go on the mat in front of the rest of the class and they have to, wrestle each other or if it's taekwondo, maybe compete with the pads on or whatever. So it's the best thing that they could do. They'll learn. It'll definitely bring him out of his shell. It'll give him confidence. It'll give him self-belief. Obviously, it's a great workout. Flexibility, all this stuff. But the main thing that he will get out of it is confidence. It will be the best thing that ever happened to him. So, and as I say, regardless of the martial art choice, they're all fantastic. Find a good club in your local area, and it's got to be convenient for you as well as the mother, because the kid has to go regularly. To make any kind of improvements, he has to stick to it. So don't think, oh, this one's good, but it's too far away, because you won't stick at that. Pick one that's nice and local, a good club, whether it's regardless of the martial art, the kid is going to blossom.
Yeah, and then the other thing is like, as somebody who never really trained in martial arts at all, it's like, I think growing up with that, especially as a foundational standpoint where you're really, really young and you learn this type of stuff and have this type of confidence when you're really young, you end up kind of growing up with a different type of outlook on the world. You don't walk around with this type of fear. You don't walk around with this type of need to prove yourself constantly. That's what I'm trying to do with my kid right now. I don't, really know jujitsu, but I know the transitions and I know a little bit here and there. So we practice things all the time. I mean, literally yesterday, me, Dave Smith, who, hosts the countdown sometimes with us on SiriusXM, we're wrestling around with my son. And he literally, dude, it was crazy. He literally passed from guard to side control to mount without even being told what to do. We've just been drilling it so much that it's in him now to do that. And it's pretty crazy. I'm going, dude, if he ever got into a fight, if he's in like the 5th grade and gets into a fight and he just does that, he's going to look like a little badass.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's awesome. But the thing is as well, for the lady who asked the question and for your son and for all kids, it's the life lessons that they learn, and of course the confidence and all these things. And I'm sure this is boring people now, but obviously for me, I was a little tearaway when I was a kid, and martial arts helped me, kind of saved my life, gave me a direction, and certainly mixed martial arts gave me direction, of course. But for me, I look at my eldest son now, Callum, and I see the molding him into a young man, into a fine young man, and it's unbelievable. He goes to these wrestling practices every day, 3-hour practice after school. They're lifting weights in the morning. They're competing on a Saturday. When they're out of season, they're all going camping together. He's got friends for life. And I talk to him sometimes, and he's yes sir, no sir. And I never tell him to call me sir. That comes from his wrestling and the respect for his coaches and things like that. So, and which is the same thing in martial arts, whether it's wrestling, jiu-jitsu, whatever. The respect element is always there. So it's just a fantastic thing. Next question.
Oh, no, that's it, man. That's it. We're going to wrap up here.
That's it? Oh,
we're about
just
an
2?
hour.
Okay.
Super fast, man. Look, Mike, dude, this is it. Episode 2, man. Appreciate
Episode 2. Yeah, it wasn't bad.